Welcome to the next part of our series, Fractions to the Core. So, you've decided to implement a cognitively demanding task to teach comparing fractions in your classroom. You spent some time anticipating critical aspects of the lesson, but now it's time to implement it. You're probably wondering, what should I do as students work on this task? This is where monitoring comes in. Monitoring is more art than science, so let's begin by talking about what monitoring isn't. Monitoring is not about giving students a correct answer. It's not about telling them the correct solution or providing a set of procedures that can be memorized. If you do these things, you aren't likely to see your students extend their mathematical thinking. Then what is monitoring about? It's about pushing student thinking, no matter where it is, and finding ways to challenge them to move forward. But you can't push until you know what they're thinking. So monitoring is really about asking students questions, listening closely to the answers, and finding ways to challenge students to extend their thinking. Imagine you have a student who can't even begin this problem. Use the questions you anticipated earlier in this video series to monitor. Ask them to try an easier step first, like, can you place 1/2 for now? Even if their thinking is not what you expected, prove their thinking by asking them to show what they're thinking with the fraction bars. Extend or press them to continue using fraction bars with the other fraction cards like 1/4. What about students who are doing well with the activity but may have placed a few fractions on the number line incorrectly? You could let them continue with their misconceptions and see if they can correct them on their own, or another choice would be to ask them to compare with another group or student and discuss any differences in fraction placement. That group put 2/3 to the right of 3/4, and you guys didn't. Can you use fraction bars to figure out who's right? Other students may need something more challenging. You can have a variety of questions ready for those students. Can you make 5 new fractions that would stump your friend, like 7/2? Or, explain your method to someone else. You could ask them to use a different representation, like a circle or set model. You could even ask them to place the fractions from this task on a different number line, one that goes from, say, 1/4 to 2. These challenges will help you to see how advanced their thinking is about the placement of fractions. Again, monitoring is an art. There's no correct question to ask. No matter what the case, if you listen, ask, and use questions to extend their thinking, you are likely to see your students' concepts develop more fully over time. To learn more about the questions you'll use in this task, be sure to view the video in this series about anticipating. Also, be sure to watch the next video in this series, Connecting. Connecting will explain how the information you gather during monitoring can help you use student work to emphasize the key concepts in this CDT.